New York City.
WVFP.
Energy and charisma.
God, well, anywhere beneath 14th Street.
And the fun and the cultural element.
It's like this self-induced schizophrenia.
Well, I just thought you might not like what I've done. You want to do something about it.
Sorry, I never know when I'm going to get in trouble.
WVFP.
Here, let me actually.
Welcome back to WVFP, New York City. We do a downtown podcast, mostly documentary of the people and the artists in our city and times. I am not an influencer. I don't do a stream. We're not doing stuff like that. Kind of doing the regular guy on the beat here downtown. We do events, we do music, and sometimes we dip into the politics. Today we have with us Lucian Wintrich III.
The fourth.
The fourth? How many of them are you? There's so many.
Well, three others if you...
He's the fourth. I'm sorry about that. He's running for District 12. Is that right?
Yep, you got it.
District 12 here in Manhattan. He was the former longtime media chair of the New York Young Republicans Club. A little bit of drama there. We're going to talk about all this and more. Thanks for coming to the show.
Anytime. Thank you for having me once again. It's always a pleasure.
You're a fixture, downtown. You've been in you were in the White House press corps.
Yeah.
And then you've been a fixture downtown before and after that. You were the media chair of the New York Young Republicans Club. If you don't mind me saying, you were like the legacy chair there at the club, right?
Before that, I was the youngest White House correspondent, right, in DC, and I also consulted with State, and I consulted with writers on the left and right in media back in DC.
How many hit articles do you think have been written about you over the years?
It's it's kind of hard to successfully hit me because there's nothing that I've previously done that can be commented on that I'm not proud of or that I don't think is funny. So when I was a White House correspondent, right, they tried to hit me with, he worked in New York nightlife when he was in his early 20s. I think that's cool to, be paid $400 a night, free bottle service. You surround yourself with models.
You're downtown. That's what young people should be doing.
And that was sort of a moonlight job for me during the day. I was an executive at Anomaly, which is one of the biggest ad firms. So what I meant by that was, the New York Young Republicans Club had some famous people in it, or, Gavin was there, but you were really the legacy chair holding it down over there. And the New York Young Republicans Club, for people who don't know, kind of, it's changed in recent years, but it used to be the intellectual center of the Republican Party. It wasn't the corporate old guys. It was the young collegiate people, the recent grads, and it had like an intellectual kind of background. Although, that's kind of, if you don't mind me saying, it's changed recently. Maybe it's not as cool as it once was, and we'll get into that. So there's a bunch of trouble over there. The New York Young Republicans Club is going through a thing. Of course. Okay, so you're only an intellectual, or I believe you only have the right to your own opinion if you're willing to engage with the other side and read the opinions from the other side and actually have discourse. The second you shut yourself off from that discourse, how valid is your personal opinion? You don't know how to engage with the other side or what their points are.
Yeah.
So NYYRC, the New York Young Republican Club, used to do that. They would have debates. They'd engage in conversation. They'd pull in intellectuals, left and right across the spectrum.
Well, that's what I mean. The New York Young Republicans Club, even for people, let's say you're not a Republican, you don't even like Republicans, that would have been the place where you were most likely to like one of them. It was more intellectual. It was very New York City, and it was a hit. It was, for a time there, it was a hip kind of thing, but it's been going through some changes. There's been a lot of shakeups,
The admins changed over, and it's led to like kind of a, if you don't, kind of a fall of the thing. It's kind of like gone down the tubes a little bit. Everyone's from Queens over there now.
They removed.
They don't read very much. I'm just saying it's changed a little, So, well, let's talk about, because I think that change probably created some tension between you and the new people. And let's talk about the New York Young Republicans Gala. There was a lot of drama around that. There was a viral video of a guy getting smacked.
Let's hit the change right before getting into the Gala.
Okay. Tell us how it's changed.
They systematically, to use that leftist term, removed pretty much anybody from Manhattan and anybody who was attractive and replaced them with these fatzos from Queens.
Right. I know there's a lot of Queens stuff.
It's a bunch of borderline obese people from Queens who aren't actually conservative, who don't actually read.
Right.
And then, they came in not because they're, again, conservative. A few of them, I said, where would you place yourself on the conservative spectrum, right? Paleo, neocon, libertarian, whatever, right? And it's inappropriate to ask me if I'm conservative in general. That's weird.
Yeah,
if it's
that's
a New York Young Republican club, like, give me something, please.
I couldn't imagine any of these new guys debating anything. Really.
Yeah, they all across the board kept saying, well, we just we like it for the community. So now it's a community of fatzos from Queens rather than any sort of intellectual or ideological group.
It's going full keg party.
My gosh, these people, I wouldn't hang out with them. So if it's a group who doesn't read, no ideology, right? No real education, no engagement, and they're ugly, and they say, be part of this club. It's a group of people that meets, and you're obligated to attend this meeting of unattractive people that in no other circumstance would you hang out with. It's losing the purpose and idea of the club.
So there was a leadership changeover, and the president changed over, and it's just not a new faction of people who are just not that cool.
In the bylaws and charter of the club itself, the mission statement, right, is to work against government corruption, to open up younger minds to all viewpoints. It's kind of altruistic, beautiful goals that almost nobody could disagree with. And that was all kind of sidelined or eliminated with the Jim Beam honey that you have is hilarious. It was pushed out in favor of this weird Queen's cabal, which kept mounting right before the Gala.
Okay.
So
there had already been some expulsions. There had already been a lot of people running for the hills.
I volunteered for that organization for a little bit over 4.5 years, right?
Right.
So unpaid. My main gig since leaving the White House press corps and coming back to New York, it's been media consulting and writing PR, right? So I was doing that with high retainers. My retainers, my gosh, you couldn't afford me. Was doing
my show would be better if I could afford you.
Well, we can work something out. I was doing it for the club for free for over 4.5 years, right? And at the Gala.
Yeah, let's get into the Gala because there was a lot of press about it at the time. There was a lot of gossipy stuff, but I want the real story here. So,
okay. Well, the way that I'm successful in media and PR, right, is I have long-standing relationships with journalists, left and right, and political figures, and I'll consult. And if I give them a story, unlike other people in media PR who do Newswire or who beg them to write a story, I'll pre-write the story. I'll be like, okay, this is something that I would read. It's all factual. Here are the people who can verify what I'm saying. Do you want the story? Right? So I'm still actively a journalist in this PR role. And then I'm respected by folks, editors at the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Politico, across the spectrum,
And
for that reason. And so I pulled in all my contacts for the gala, right?
well, just for the people at home, because this would be your job at the gala. I mean, this is your role at the
Press,
gala,
yeah.
press. So you're the one with the relationships to the reporters. You're the one bringing people in, and you're the one kind of managing the press, table seating, whatever it is, the articles maybe that get written. Okay.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So if I have major feature writers from nearly every publication, connections of mine, who were invited to the NYYRC gala,
Right.
and they're relegated to this back corner, this small back corner where there's no visibility of the stage. They can't interview folks. I didn't know that would happen.
Right.
It made my job impossible because they have no story. The live stream of the gala would have been better. And a feature writer from the New York Times, while this was going on, came up to me and he was like, "Lucian, I love you, but I just called my editor." He said, I have to leave. There's no story here. They're not letting me out of this little tiny back area.
So part of the backdrop to the gala for the New York Young Republicans Club thing was you had all this press here, but they did something they don't usually do. They created a very tight pin and they kind of capped it.
Getty Images, Reuters, right?
Yeah.
Photographers.
Right.
Brilliant photographers. They sent their best. The photographers weren't allowed out of that small back area.
So it wasn't just like video and streaming and stuff. It was also just regular print photographers. Like, fashion and theme photography.
Famous event and political photography. Yeah, exactly. So,
those are the kind of people you want wandering around the party.
And as a somebody who dabbles in photography myself, I tried to help them. I went into their little press pen and did the Kubrick, could I get any image here? It was impossible. I had to apologize to so many people. And I found out later on that the club did that to me just to screw with my relationships with the press.
Right. Well, there was also some other stuff going on. So, there was a bad press situation.
Wait, back up for a second.
Yeah.
Absorb that. They sacrificed press that I was generating for them.
Yeah.
Right. Photography, brilliant writers.
And everybody wants to be in the Getty Images. Everybody wants the photographer to be around the party. That's, half the fun. So they're kind of they're just kind of they're messing with the press guy. There's been a overturn of Queens weirdos in the club, and now they're messing with the press because they probably just don't even know what they're doing, really, right? And then they're trying to dig at you, so it causes a little bit of a problem.
I mean, absolutely. If you ask friends of yours or people you know and who respect you to attend an event, say that they'll be able to actually cover the event and they're prevented from doing that, impossible. So that was brilliant. It largely sabotaged whatever they wanted for the gala because there's no real coverage.
Right.
Simultaneously, it was leaked to me that the club signed the weirdest backdoor deal imaginable.
Right. This is the kind of the contract scandal. There's kind of a contract scandal going on at the New York Young Republicans, if you don't know. It's kind of like the next thing here is that not only are the Queens weirdos just like weird and stuff, but they're also kind of reshaping the club financially in a way that might be inappropriate. But before we get to that, I just want to say, because everybody knows I'm interested in the gossip. I want to hear the gossip stuff. From my understanding at the gala, it wasn't just the mainstream press and those people that were cordoned off. There were also celebrities that we know here in New York City, like the co-founder of Vice, Gavin McInnis, who were also unceremoniously ejected from the event or weren't allowed in or whatever it was, right? Is that true? Or is it not?
No, so it's slightly worse than that. So there were a couple of wealthier people, right, who purchased entire tables at the gala.
Okay.
Each table could seat between 10 and 12 people. they booked out who they wanted at those tables. So Gavin McInnis was one of them. Sarah Stock. A few of these people are going through stuff right now.
Sure, yeah. Sarah Stock.
Sarah
She's
Stock,
in the thing with Elijah. I think everybody knows.
Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes,
was,
the famous right-wing commentator.
And then there might have been like 3 or 4 people who, quite honestly, are so boring and unobjectionable that I'm forgetting their names. Anyway, if you pay for a full table and spend $17,000 and give the club a list of names,
Sure.
you own those tables.
It's a fundraiser.
Yeah, I mean, if one of the seats, it wasn't Gavin, if it was like AOC or what's the philosopher with the accent and the lisp, Zizek. Zizek. Yeah, if he got a seat, I would.
Zizek.
Yeah, I would love it. I'd be all for it. So anybody who has a paid for seat, and if somebody throws like thousands of dollars towards it,
that's fundraising.
And it's their property, in my opinion.
Of course.
So they, the club, at the last minute, maybe 24 to 48 hours before the gala, seized a ton of those seats, resold them to other people for between, I believe, $1,000 and $1,500 a seat to beyond double profits.
Yeah.
And then
banned
banned all these people. And so
can I go off on this for a second? I know we're going to get back to Lucian. Listen. Okay, maybe you're not a Republican, you don't really care about the gossip and everything, but Gavin McInnis is the co-founder of Vice News. He's a New York City media and broadcasting guy. He's been around. He's a legacy person in New York City media. What kind of Republican president chair at the Young Republicans throws this guy out of their gala? He's like a celebrity. Like what? Who is the child from Queens who threw Gavin McInnis out of the gala? Like, okay, Nick Fuentes. I mean, he's controversial. Okay, maybe that's going to happen. But Gavin McInnis, who are you? You're better than okay. So that's crazy to me. That's just crazy to me.
I mean, to hit the point harder, and I don't want to actually be rude about a few people.
Yeah.
But there were some true boring nobody people. Maybe 5,000 followers on YouTube,
right?
Mumbling rants. They were also denied paid for seats.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Jared.
Well, we don't care about them.
Meanwhile, Jared Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Who's like the Richard Dawkins equivalent of white supremacy.
Yeah, there's something wrong with. Can I come out against this Taylor guy because I'm not a huge fan?
That's fine. He's a real jerk. Norm Macdonald joke. Okay, so, I mean, in my opinion, Jared Taylor, he's a pseudo-intellectual. He kind of annoys me. But
there's no reason for him to be there over like someone like
well,
Gavin.
there's no reason for the club to give him VIP access to everything for free, and then ban. Let's not even talk about Gavin McInnis or Nick or Sarah Stock or some of these other people. Very boring people.
Yeah.
That to me is crazy.
So I just wanted to hit that real quick. They're refusing entry to Gavin McInnis and then double selling his seat. Like what hubris is going on there? So anyway,
if you want to hear the funniest tangent that very unfortunately Politico didn't publish, approved all these reporters. I think the woman's name was Caroline from Politico. Towards the end of the night, I was able to break journalists out of this tiny press triangle that they were in, and one of them was Caroline with Politico, and she, a younger woman. I actually did tell a number of journalists that Jared Taylor was there.
Right.
These younger people, they wouldn't recognize Jared Taylor.
No.
Just to tip them off.
Stupid internet person.
Well, no, he was seriously what? He's big in like the 90s for doing what Dawkins did with atheism, but with like white supremacy. Yeah. So okay, yeah, I showed him showed them a picture. I was like, okay, if you want something, here's Jared Taylor.
Yeah.
And she walks up to Jared Taylor. I guess Jared Taylor's wife has to use the restroom or something. She leaves Jared Taylor briefly, and he goes up to Caroline, a Politico reporter, who I also do this funny thing. I'll have them trailed. I think you were one of the people who trailed journalists, right?
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, you watch them.
And it was a couple other people as well.
So what was the title that I gave you guys?
I think it was like something like trailer trolling, something like that, I guess.
Escort.
Yeah,
Professional
I think it
escort,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, professional.
And so yeah, Politico girl, she had one of my escorts went up to Jared Taylor. The escort said, she's from Politico. Take note of that. Watch what you say. And he said, well, my wife's away. Have you ever danced, properly ballroom danced? I don't believe ballroom dancing music was playing, but he asked her, he asked this reporter from Politico after knowing that she was from Politico if she's ballroom danced, and when she said no, he said, well, if you would you care to try it? It really opens up the white parts of your brain. I didn't know that they said the color white in the same way that that was news to me. That's hilarious.
Yeah, like good stuff happening.
I've never thought about that.
Jared Taylor.
In my entire
What an asshole.
these specific like white supremacist people. I've never thought about them maybe just pronouncing even the color. Yeah,
White.
like you go up to like Benjamin Moore. It's like, yeah, do you have any white paint?
White.
But I get you.
We're here for all the white people.
They need consistency, I guess, right? It'd be
Okay,
fun.
not a huge fan of that guy. And it's like Gavin McInnis is like a cool guy from the aughts,
Yeah.
From how do you trade one for this like online internet racist for like the cool media guy who founded Vice News? Like maybe that's a misstep, but okay.
Well, why
So
ban people in general again?
Right.
It should be open conversation, intellectual, and
also they paid for it, so.
no.
All right, so we've got the Gala, and the Gala's a shit show. And the new administration is messing up the press, and they're doing it probably to tick you off, but also because they're, ignorant. They're banning legacy right-wing people who are like the cooler people, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is all kind of
Jared
like
Taylor.
right. And then they're inviting all of these people. So there's like kind of like a little bit of a soft civil war going on here where the kids from Queens are kind of getting rid of all the legacy people. And so then what happens? Because then this is it. This was the last night that you were working with the New York Young Republicans. Is that basically?
Yeah. So I ended up having an after at mine, which was wonderful. Oh my God.
I should have been there. I'm never at the
You
cool
would-
stuff.
yeah,
I'm
you
always
would have
missing the
enjoyed
cool
that.
things.
I Matan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had him MC.
You got Matan there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, that's a good thing.
He's hilarious.
He is so funny.
They were very excited about Matan, and then I was blamed because he trolled
Yeah.
everybody in the audience. They said that that's what ruined the gala.
So they were even unhappy with Matan.
Oh,
Who are these people? That's funny. You never told me that. That is hilarious.
Wasn't there a guy on the stage that came up like during like one of the speeches?
A fan. Okay, so Matan had because a lot of younger people love him, right?
Yeah.
Him emceeing pulled in a bunch of young people,
Yeah,
which
totally.
is what we want as the
Yes.
New York Young Republicans Club.
Duh.
And yeah, this one kid, also Indian like yourself, but taller.
Yeah.
He was just a fan of Matan's. Jack Posobiec, who by the way I also pulled in. I'm a friend of his.
Okay.
I don't know. He was. I love him, but I can predict what he's going to say while he was on stage. giving his speech, this taller Indian kid said, "More Matan." And the club took that as a terroristic threat, and there was security. It was
Not serious at all. Like,
huge ordeal. He was like grabbed by the body and thrown out onto the street.
There's a brown person yelling right in front of the podium.
Yeah, and it was just like more Matan.
Yeah.
Like, quite honestly, I agreed with him. There should have been more Matan. If you're emceeing an event,
Matan should be doing this show.
doing it, yeah.
it's if you're emceeing an event, it shouldn't just be the open. You're emceeing.
Yeah, you're up
scat-
there every time. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to pull up my text with Matan, but he would have been amazing, and the entire thing would be funnier if he was scattered between the speakers.
Of course.
As
I agree.
comic relief,
Yeah.
which should have happened.
Of course.
Then anyway, so Indian guy who was thrown onto the pavement outside. I comforted him.
Do you want to hit the viral thing with the guy getting punched outside? Do you know anything about that?
I know every side of that one.
Okay, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if it's a thing or what it was.
No, it is. It's actually very funny.
Just give me the short. Give me the short version. Is there a short version there? We love the gossip
Yeah.
here on the show.
So, okay.
And then we'll move on to the
Yeah. So Hayden, right, the guy who runs women propaganda or woman propaganda. You know the guy. He has the beard. He's like kind of actually
yeah.
about your height.
Yeah.
He's humorously short in person.
Yes.
Funny guy though. Sweetheart.
I'm not a fan of this guy.
You're not a fan?
Not a fan.
That's okay.
You don't think he's funny?
Yeah. I think he lost aura, I'm not going to lie. Like when he got
During the punch.
slapped outside, yeah.
Oh, you got slapped down
So-
live on a viral event.
Couldn't stand on it,
He
Couldn't stand on, yeah.
he got by the way, I was also personally blamed for the guy who stood up with all the swastikas and said, "So now we're all openly Nazis." So what happened right before that is somebody took off their jacket or something, right? And they were covered in drawn swastikas.
Like
and,
fake tattoos.
Well, no,
Is that
it's not
armband?
body tattoo.
Oh, he had like an.
Yeah, it's like
It was an R-band also, yeah.
It's like a protest at the.
I feel I heard it was like a protest.
Yeah.
And he was like
Oh
representing.
no,
like,
that's one of our people who screams
Yeah.
wearing a ton of swastikas. Absolutely.
Like, that's
That's the
like-
entire crowd.
yeah.
How much do you think it cost Did you think it cost the protester a lot of money to get into the Gala? And do
Yeah, I
something
did.
like that?
I looked
They paid
into
$1,000 to go inside and scream about
He
swastikas.
paid $1,000 to stand up, take off his jacket,
Yeah.
and be covered in swastikas and say, "Now we're all openly Nazis." Totally out of context because I think there was a South African guy talking about Charlie Kirk. It was boring as hell, quite honestly. And I don't know why South Africans were talking about Charlie Kirk. It's not really their guy. So yeah, he timed it. His timing was also weird. But okay, so of course he was escorted out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then once he was outside, Hayden, woman propaganda guy,
Yeah.
was wasted and he stumbled out and humorously short guy, love him, but
And he's like mimicking the protest.
well, yeah,
saying
he's like
things that
trying to
are-
troll him, and then
Right.
he steals the guy one of his Nazi armbands,
Right.
and the guy's like, "Give me back my property."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm sure you have more of these back home. I'll keep this one. And while Hayden's trolling the guy and wasted,
Somebody else comes up.
this other guy, Kevin, who, all these conservative influencers, my gosh. But Kevin, big guy.
Yeah.
He's like a mechanic / influencer. He was a linebacker in football or something, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
He could definitely turn me into a pretzel.
He's pretty short too.
He's short, but he's powerful.
He's a tank.
He is
He's a meatball like Alex Jones.
Yeah.
He is
absolutely.
No, I could take Alex Jones. I could not take.
Whoa.
Alex Jones is a pretty big guy, man.
That guy's like a cannonball.
Just because you're a little fat doesn't mean, Yeah, I take Alex Jones before a short mechanic, former like.
So what's the
Okay,
story
anyway,
there?
so
So he comes outside and thinks that the other guy's being serious.
Hayden's trolling this like liberal protester covered in swastikas, right?
Right.
And then Kevin, who's also wasted, big guy, comes out and gets very confused about who the protester is.
Right.
Yes.
And he thinks that Hayden is the protester because I guess Hayden was holding
Right.
the Nazi armband.
Right.
So it was,
Because he's fighting with the real protester.
yeah. And
That is so
he starts, pushing Hayden, and Hayden's not used to like altercations. He's like, "Yo, man, I was, I'm on your side." Then he's decked. I don't want to comment on my thoughts about his reaction.
No,
there.
but that's funny though. That whole thing's funny. It's because the guy gets punched by someone who's actually on his team because everyone's confused about.
Do you know the only reason that was recorded?
No.
By this guy Timothy, right? Politico, former Politico reporter. The only reason that entire ordeal was recorded in the first place is because Timothy was in that little triangle, not able to cover anything, got so bored that he went outside just to record.
Yeah, because he's in the
people
pen.
leaving and whatever the fuck is going on externally from the event that he couldn't cover.
Hilarious.
So if they let my reporters cover things, we'd have no.
The slap outside was like the biggest clip of the gala.
Oh yeah, it wasn't.
Isn't that funny? Because the gala is not successful. So, okay, so
by the way, I it'd be funny if I called Kevin now. I called him the next day and I was like, you like hardcore bitch slapped an attendee. He was like, yeah, man, I don't know. He was wearing it's like lambskin coat. He didn't look like he was part of the gala. It's like, well, if you look closer, he was wearing a tux and bow tie under that coat.
I was just gonna say that.
So if you look, if you looked a little closer, you should have been able to tell maybe. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I feel bad about it now.
They took a picture actually after I saw it with Hayden and the Kevin.
Yeah,
it's like a
Kevin
misunderstanding.
Smith.
Okay, well, so I wanna move on because actually some serious stuff happened. In the backdrop to all this gala stuff, there's a little bit there's all this stuff going on with the administration of the New York Young Republicans Club, and it's not so much on the up and up. And on to the backdrop of all of this gala chaos is like another brewing legal situation, and it's kind of mixed up with your departure from the New York Young Republicans.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for
So I'm the segue master.
fantastic. Okay.
Well, no. Tell me a little bit about it because
after seats were stolen from table purchasers, right? Which I did have an issue with in general. Kind of stealing people's money, in my opinion.
yeah, totally.
Attendees aside, I was leaked a bizarre contract where 15% of fundraising money for the club would go to this ghost LLC organization.
Okay.
It's registered in multiple states. It files no reports. It's like sort of defunct looking. It makes no sense on paper. It has no real experience working in fundraising at all, except for huge disbursements coming from this 1776 PAC.
So,
Which is the new president's boss's PAC.
So the Queens guys take over the club.
Yeah.
After they take over the club, there's this new contract that gives fundraising to like this private entity to do God knows what. And the entity is owned by the boss of the Queens guy who's the president of the New York Young. Is everybody kind of getting that? So the president of the New York Young Republicans Club is signed off on a thing where the fundraising goes to the LLC of his in real life boss.
And this was
because he's got a job.
This was a hidden secret contract that as a longstanding board member, I should have seen. If you're working with a nonprofit, all of this should be transparent, and it shouldn't have been leaked to me. We should have all been aware.
Right.
And what really sucks to me is when I saw the contract, it was too stupid. It was such like obvious. It looked like obvious embezzlement, but in the clumsiest, silliest way possible. And what went through my head is, okay, obviously I'm misreading this. If you have an IQ over maybe a 75 and you're embezzling money, you wouldn't do it exactly this way.
This obviously, pretty much.
So it made no sense to me. So I called our wonderful new president up, and I was like, please explain this to me, because on paper, here's what it looks like. That's not it, right? That's crazy. That's very silly. Yikes. And instead of explaining it to me or answering why it made sense, within 12 hours, I was removed from all New York Young Republican Club communications. They sent out a press release to all my contacts saying I was no longer press chairman, again, a voluntary role. They made it sound like I was getting paid for that, which is misleading the people I work with and the public. And when I made fun of them for doing that and misleading the public and my personal connections, which they stole from me, they hired a 2.5-star attorney from Google to sue me for $5 million.
Well, what is it that you did to warrant a $5 million lawsuit?
Well, I mean, this is great.
$5 million.
By the way, they spent what also I find this so offensive. They used donor funding
Yeah.
to hire the 2.5-star Google attorney to hit me with a $5 million suit.
Hey, he has an office in the strip mall in White Plains.
Okay, so just the way the entire thing is hilarious. I mean, I'm not going to bring up all the inaccuracies.
Well, yeah, we can't do the whole thing.
There are a few there are a few funny peppered ones where this guy, I understand the star rating. He calls a podcast or Gavin show. He calls it a pod case, which I kind of like.
For full disclosure, right after this happened, Lucian went on Gavin McInnis' show and detailed some of the lawsuits.
Well, because Gavin was cheated out of
Right, yeah.
A seat.
Yeah.
But it is funny if you go on a
So what? So tell us.
if you go on a show and
They're suing you because you're making
the
fun
attorney,
of them.
I do like the term pod case. Okay, so anyway, this begins. This case centers around the defendant's ongoing campaign to seek revenge against plaintiff, NYYRC. So I like a campaign for revenge. And then let's see what my charges are here.
What are your charges? $5 million. What did you do? Because that's how much it costs.
What's funny is half of this just says they're a famous club and a nonprofit. It's a lot of jerk off material. And then we get to page 6. Okay. This is good. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. In the caption of defendant's ex post containing the meeting video, defendant signaled out one female member whose face was visible in the video and stated as follows: I gotta say, I'm really gonna miss these highly productive NYYRC board meetings where we have obese chicks on camera driving through traffic while stuffing their face, while folks say absolutely nothing for 3 hours in the background. And then they bolded obese chicks and they said emphasis added.
Obese chicks, $500,000. $500,000.
Since the Queens folks took over, we would have 3-hour-long board meetings, mandatory. And this one,
Well, they're running it like an undergrad
If this
thing.
case goes into discovery, we'll see. how much she weighs. We'll have her step on a scale. But she's rounded girl driving through traffic, right? With video call on, which I think is illegal, and then she's eating a pasta dish.
Is she eating pasta?
While driving.
That's definitely illegal,
you're,
though, right?
You're seeing cars whiz past her and, lights, traffic lights.
Yeah.
Some people need their vodka. They need their vodka sauce, okay? It's New York City.
So here's part of my campaign for revenge. So, obviously they just making fun of the environment that was created there. On the same day, defendant published another post to his ex account in which he called plaintiff's attorney, who had been hired, well, he was pro bono, not really hired, Italian caucus chair, by the way, who had been hired to respond to the above mentioned Politico article. So I called him a, quote, actual retard. Again, emphasis added. So this guy.
That's another $500,000, Lucian.
Yeah. So this guy, he's
called me the R slur. We're going to court.
He's the Italian caucus chair for the club. He gave me.
That sounds cool though. Italian caucus chair sounds like you should be cooler. You should be like more based.
You should. I posted the letter.
I feel like there's a lot of just like random caucuses or whatever. Like,
all right, so
things a part of the club. It's just like a bunch, like a lot of waste of time.
Actually, here's a big one, right?
Yes.
I do think caucuses and committees, especially on the left doesn't really do this. And what I loved about the NYYRC is it was kind of a big intellectual tent. So we would have Libertarian caucus, Italian caucus, Catholic caucus, Protestant caucus, Indian caucus for you,
really?
right? Well, no, but you.
Oh, okay.
If I was, you could start one.
Oh, sure, why not?
And
like the third time he's pointed at you when Southeast Asia's come up.
So again,
it's all good. It's all good.
After this, I totally didn't know this dynamic of it. But after I was
it's so funny.
Thrown out, sort of. I'm still technically on the board because there was no vote.
Interesting.
That's weird.
But after they're claiming I was thrown out, I found out from caucus chairs that each caucus and each committee used to have their own separate bank accounts. So if they threw an event, right, for their caucus or their group,
they could fundraise for it.
Yeah, they keep the money and then throw that into subsequent events. What happened with this current president? I know financial stuff is boring to talk about.
No.
But current president, he seized all those sub bank accounts and combined them all into this one major bank account, which again is suing me for $5 million.
He needs money.
Shady stuff right here. Shady stuff.
It's wild. It really is, and it's depressing because it's against.
So the queen, the new queen's chair of the New York Young Republicans Club is suing you for $5 million because you were salty on the internet about them and the Gala and the lawsuit.
Yeah.
I mean, well, no, the lawsuit comes after. So you were salty on the internet and they're quoting you here and you're calling them fat and retarded.
Well,
and that equals $5 million.
The last one. So this is final charge. On that same day, my day of my campaign of revenge, defendant published yet another post to his ex account in which he falsely and without basis whatsoever accused the NYYRC and its president, Stefano Forte. Wait. Oh my God, this is stupid. Stefano Forte, Forte, and then in parentheses, Forte, and then in quotes, I spelled it correctly.
I don't know.
Yeah, that one doesn't make sense. All right, 2.5 stars on Google. Of engaging in obvious misconduct. True. The erosion of donor trust and the general lack of ethical dealings taking place within the current incarnation of the NYRC. The defendant then went on and attached a photograph of the vice president of the organization and described him as an albino ginger in bold. Emphasis added again.
Which one's the albino ginger?
Look at that. Bolding some funny stuff I said, and then saying emphasis added makes my stupid jokes so much funnier.
What's really funny is it's all like italicized and stuff. Albino ginger.
You know,
Well, you've made them very angry. That's
he does look bizarre, by the way.
Listen, guys down at the New York Young Republicans Club, you can't sue someone for $5 million for calling you fat on the internet. It's not going down. But okay. That seems childish and crazy. All right. So
Okay,
it's just too funny.
So we have other people running right now. Or could we take a two-minute break or no?
No,
We have to
we're
keep
like
running?
we're like not we're running out of time. So look,
Okay.
let me get because let's wrap because then we got to move on to the election. But
Yeah.
okay, so the New York Young Republicans sued you for making fun of them, and this is probably going nowhere. And then after that, you decided to run for office.
No. They knew
you did that
I was
before.
running for office back in November.
Okay. You'd already decided.
I did, and the reason the Manhattan GOP right now isn't supporting me is because they went behind my back and pushed this other candidate, Caroline, right to the forefront, which they said they would do right after I uncovered the weird financial dealings. It's,
I mean, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but if you uncover some weird financial dealings and then someone sues you for $5 million over a fat joke, it's possible to try to cover up the weird financial dealings. I'm just a normal guy in a weird hat, but it kind of seems like.
I mean, quite honestly,
you've got the weird financial dealings. They're like, you called me fat. Now it's $5 million. It's like, I don't think so. That's
why not, at the very least, come up with an excuse for me,
right?
Or some sort of lie.
Yeah.
That
I would have made a lie.
If it was a good lie, then it would have pushed me off the case for a little bit, at least.
So in the backdrop of all of this, because so much going on, it's like all one story. So in the
everybody's stealing from everybody.
Right. Welcome to politics. So in the backdrop of all of this, you decide to run for Jerry Nadler's open seat that he's decided not to run for anymore. He's very elderly. We're happy to see him go. It's my opinion.
Finally. Hey.
Yeah, Jerry Nadler can get out of here. It's so funny that Jerry Nadler had so much power, and yet he was just, he was a House person, right? It's a House seat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good riddance, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the.
It's just a house.
Well, no, I don't mean it like that. I mean like Jerry Nadler seemed to have outsized power. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, he was a career bureaucrat.
Yeah, he was a career bureaucrat.
There since I think the early 90s.
Right.
Oh.
So you decide you're now running for the open seat.
Yeah.
And you were during all of that. That's exciting, man. That's an exciting thing. Just to stop for a second, Lucian's been on our show before, mostly in the context of being a local artist and being a celebrity, and he's working in the photography world. But now we have somebody from the show who's running for office, and that's really exciting. So thanks for giving me that.
Anytime.
Yeah. So tell us about the race. I mean, how's it shaping up, and how's it going for you? What do you think is going to happen here?
It's definitely a very white race. On the left we do have Mika Lasher right now, who worked with Jerry Nadler. He worked with Hochul.
He's the Nadler legacy candidate.
We have a bunch of sort of career bureaucrats running who are pulling a ton of money from the left establishment, right? And then we have a few outliers. We used to have Cameron Kasky, right? I won't get into. But Jack, I hate saying his last, Schlossenberg.
And he's the Kennedy candidate.
Yeah. Who's, social media sort of influencer.
And this guy's kind of shaking up the race on the Democrat side. The other people were vying for position, and now the Kennedy legacy candidates entered, and it's he's topping the chart. On their side.
There's over like 12 candidates on the left, right?
Right.
At least half of the major ones who are actually getting funding, donations, right? They have no policy. I'm actually the only one, left or right, that spelled out what I believe in and the policies that I would like to see enacted in Congress. Other thing is, it's sort of a bio, right? So Jack says he went to Harvard, Yale. He's a Kennedy. He quotes Aristotle and I think another writer out of context. And same with Alex Borto, same with all of them. It's I can work against Trump better than anybody else.
Right.
They don't really say how they're going to do that or anything else, but it's a race on the left at least who can defeat Trump.
Would you want to give us a little bit of your platform? You know, what's
obviously I'm just trying to defeat Trump.
Yeah.
I ask me any question I can. Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know. I think that this is a district on the Upper East Side.
Yeah, Upper East, Upper West.
And I don't know a lot about. Oh, and it's also Upper West.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a large swath of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not totally informed. So it's a large swath of generally uptown, Upper East Side, Upper West
One of
Side.
the wealthiest districts, and Hell's Kitchen too.
I kind of feel like for the rich people who live on the Upper East Side and the Upper West Side, stop me if I'm wrong, the danger is not so much Trump, it might be Mamdani. Is that?
Yeah. So he's
I mean, who's coming after the people on the Upper East Side? It's not Trump,
massively
right?
spiking taxes across the board. He's making it completely untenable to stay in the city.
Yeah.
Right. And
He's going to take my free parking away.
And while he's doing that locally in New York, we have elected officials, right, in Congress who are taxing us even more and redistributing that wealth. So we're being hit in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, it makes no sense, especially it makes no sense to try to be successful and raise a family in Manhattan anymore.
Yeah.
It's a huge issue. I've had so many friends of mine move out of the city, very successful friends, to Connecticut's a big one. I feel like that'd be kind of depressing. Florida's another one.
Connecticut is depressing.
So
Well, you know, there used to be this thing about the city where it was enclaves, you know, and if you wanted to have a family, maybe I went to one of the enclaves in the city that people have families in. Everybody's getting squeezed now, you know, and we don't really want to watch the city become a bunch of bank buildings.
With Mamdani's latest round of increases, people who spent will go on the very high, like almost 3% realm of this. People who spent like $5 million on a beautiful apartment, right?
Right.
In their 40s, worked ridiculous hours at a law firm or whatever else, right?
Right.
Just to be able to afford that, sacrificing, their youth and evening enjoyments. Spend the $5 million, and then they're spending. Some of them like over $20,000 a month between taxes and building fees. You can rent a place without spending.
You're right.
The initial $5 million.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
It's really the guys. It's really the guys in the middle who've had a somewhat successful career, you know, and they're in finance. They don't make millions and millions a year, but they have more money than the average guy. They have a good job. Those are the people that are getting squeezed out. If you make $200,000 a year here, you know how hard it is to make it? You feel like you're a success. You're a lawyer. You're a stock trader. You're making $200,000 a year. In New York City, it gets eaten up so quickly, and the idea of paying more has got to be sending a lot of these people. We're not talking about the people with $1 billion fortune. We're talking about the people, the professionals in the middle. They're getting squeezed out. What do they really want? They want kids and an apartment, and it's becoming untenable.
It's not even what's wild to me, and I've had a lot of conversations with folks across New York about this. It's not even somebody who makes $200K a year, which then somehow becomes like maybe $110K, and then you pay rent.
Yeah,
and then
it's ridiculous.
You might be able to save $50. If you found a cheap apartment.
Yeah.
Even folks who are making $60,000 a year.
Right.
which is hard in New York. And that's a lot of young people too.
That's true.
Like entering the workforce.
Yeah.
You end up with a take home after, taxes and insurance. Health insurance is pooled if you're working for a larger company, right? Health insurance is pulled from it. All these other little things are pulled from it. Take home salary might be 30, and then after you pay rent, you'd be very lucky to be able to save very much of anything from that. And there's no room for advancement.
This guy,
it's demoralizing.
This guy went on Subway Takes during the election and told the Subway Takes guy, by the way, not a huge fan. Hey, look, I run my own show. But I'm not a huge fan of Subway Takes, but because I do like a public access, I do a slower, more in-depth thing. But he told the Subway Takes guy said, I don't want my taxes to go up. And Ma'am Dammy said, do you make $1 million a year? Your taxes aren't going up. We're not sticking to that. And that's a bad thing, If this is about the ultra rich, why am I now, thinking about paying more?
The New York Post, a week and a half ago, had a great article about, they did this pretty well. It was, just fixed income, older black families, right? Across the boroughs, who are also going to be hit with this 9.5%.
That's crazy.
Increase. They won't be able to afford, they're already trying to figure out and scramble what they're going to do. Because he did say it's just going to be the rich.
Right.
Their entire budgeting, their entire lives are, sort of breaking even and maintaining their house. They're not going to be able to do that anymore because of what he's implementing.
Yeah. So, kind of like, and I'm not trying to step on you here because you got a campaign and you're a serious person and I'm not. But I just feel like it's not populist, it's not socialism, it's not anything like that to be hitting working people or, and honestly, I think if you make $1 million a year, you're paying a lot of taxes anyway. And it's hard for those people to see why they should pay more. Maybe some people think they should, but it's everyone below that's going to get hit too. So, I can't pay it. You're going to have to come get me, Ma'am Dammy, because I can't pay it, So, yeah. Well, so anyway, what do you got for us? You got some hats here. You got some merch. Let me see the stuff. I want to see the things.
So,
I'm wearing the hat right now.
We got the hat here. We got a New York First hat.
First.
That's right. I love that message, by the way. New York First.
Okay, so again, true to the campaign and what I've always believed in, one of the reasons I'm running for office, right, is I don't like the federal government having really any power. They should be very kind of peripheral to us, and they keep expanding. Democrat or Republican, both sides keep expanding the federal government,
right?
And it's making it harder and harder for just people to live.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So.
True story.
Part of the messaging behind New York First, right, is let's start localizing everything again. Yes. Whatever area you're in, city, let's pull things back.
Yeah, and let's take care of the people instead of trying to bury them under service fees and stuff,
That was the funniest Mamdani thing. The homeless people have a right to stay on the streets during our freezing winter.
Well, you know what?
Died.
But then now after the homeless people died in the cold, they restarted the tent checks because
do you think he was aware of that? New York does have a homeless problem. Let me be a liberal and say they have the right to freeze on the street. Half of them die. Yeah. That's how we get rid of the homeless, keeping them on the street, not helping them at all.
Well, the Ma'am Dammy flip-flopped on that anyway, and they're doing the checks now. So, you might not have read that on the front page of Ma'am Dammy's newspapers or whatever, but Ma'am Dammy folded after the cold snap hit. They folded, and now they're doing some checks.
And they're trying to help the homeless?
Because it's crazy what they were, So
yeah.
It's fine.
He folded. He's actually trying to prevent people from dying. That's great for him.
Well, I'm sorry, but...
Okay, so look at this. All made in America. New York State seal. Check that quality out.
New York First, baby.
And
down there in District 12.
Up
there.
To produce those, if you want a short tangent,
America first. It's not cheap. America first isn't cheap, baby.
It's where the campaign is making nearly no money on these. And before
We get your New York first hat. Look,
this took a month, and I'd love to see this with small townships and communities.
yeah.
America was sort of founded on the notion that communities would take care of themselves,
Yes.
and everything was localized. There were far less public organizations where the Fed would just overly fund them that didn't know the communities they were going into. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially New York, which has a history of neighborhoods, has a history of, localized.
And each
independence.
neighborhood in New York is also completely different, which is one of the most beautiful things about.
Yeah.
Has its own character and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
To argue against myself, it would be funny, it'd be very expensive. But if I every neighborhood, every neighborhood, every neighborhood.
That would be very expensive. Yeah.
But I could do it with this made in Bangladesh model that they tried to pass off to me before I screamed at the company.
That's okay. Call up and get your slightly discounted version of the New York first hat. This one's not as high quality. It's
This is another case of folks thinking that I'm absolutely retarded because I made it very clear these needed to be made in America, of course, right? And ideally in New York. And they were like, oh, yeah. So here's... Okay, look at the difference, by the way.
It's like the flimsy,
yeah, that's right. Well, look,
It's
we got
so funny.
we got 2 price points here. You know what I mean? Maybe you love America, but you just can't afford a hat made in America. Let's face it.
Look at even the...
Maybe you get a New York first hat.
Look at the state
It's,
seal.
Look at the patch on the side. Compare it between.
Right. Yeah.
Everything about it
It's
is
like
Like this
hilarious.
one's actually stitched. Yeah. Yeah. You can kind of see it.
Some sort of iron-on transfer.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Well, you know what? Maybe we've got a lot of these, so call up.
So
Can sell that one on Canal Street. On the street.
That's right. Yeah. Canal. This is better than anything they sell on Canal. The knockoff Bangladesh hat's probably better than anything on Canal.
25 of these. And
They're going fast.
No, I'm... well, yeah, the awful ones. I am going to be giving these out to the folks on Canal,
Oh, yeah. Totally.
so they can sell the knockoffs. That'll be fun. Yeah, big campaign thing, right? So because we're focusing on actual people and when politicians used to care about people. When was the last time you can remember that happening?
That's a long time ago.
Maybe 60s, 1960s almost.
Yeah.
Remember Goldwater
Oh, Goldwater.
Johnson?
Yeah.
So these are original
What do you got here? Let's see.
stickers. Goldwater and Johnson.
Got Johnson, Humphrey. What is this? Brooklyn, USA, LBJ all the way.
Localized.
That's awesome. This guy totally killed Kennedy. But that's fine.
Look at that print quality and just the
Goldwater Miller, Goldwater, man. That was something
it
else.
was, oh my gosh.
And Humphrey.
Best president we never had.
Goldwater? Yeah, right. Everyone, even the leftists were Goldwater fans.
Well,
Do you remember that?
Hillary Clinton was a
Hillary was a Goldwater girl.
yeah.
They had Goldwater girls. That's right. What else we got here?
So
I want to know the presents here.
here's the
Art collectors for Lucian Wintrich. How's that for our show? I just dug that right out of there. Art collectors for Lucian Wintrich. It came into my fingers.
here. Let's read some of these off.
Big law lawyers for Lucian Wintrich.
IVF moms, insomniacs,
IVF moms. Let me see that.
dry cleaners.
IVF moms.
There you go. I actually need to give this.
Who's into the pronatalism? Elizabeth Brunig. Maybe you want the IVF moms for Lucian Wintrich. Adjunct professor. Koreans for Lucian Wintrich. Where's our co-host? He's vaguely Taiwanese, but also maybe kind of South Korean. We don't really know on the show because we don't really care. But
Big
maybe we
law
got
lawyers.
Koreans.
My lawyer friend came up with that one.
Big law lawyers.
So what's funny to me, and I will give Mamdani a tiny bit of credit here.
Look, some of them have said good things. I just want to say this. I don't want to go on and on about positive Mandami stuff, but I actually have seen some stuff from his people, especially in the first couple of weeks, that I was like totally on board with. But there's a lot
in terms of advertising and his campaign itself. I hated all of his ideas. Everything's trash.
Yeah.
But what he did was, he pulled from my favorite era of political campaign advertising, right? Which is the Goldwater, Kennedy, Johnson era. They would have sort of specific pins, right? Democrats for a Republican would be big, and then Republicans for RFK.
Dry cleaner.
Yeah. Okay, so Mamdani, what he did was not very inventive. But it was, gays for Mamdani, lesbians for Mamdani, hot girls was a popular one.
Hot girls from Mamdani was the big one.
And up until he did that, I hadn't seen another politician do that. So, okay, applause to him. And then obviously, when I started working on my campaign, I can't do gays or lesbians are kind of mean to me half the time. Can't do gays, lesbians, hot girls, that's kind of like boring, and he already did it. So I was like, let's take this again. Let's take the bit to the next level.
Yeah, totally.
Acrylic nail techs.
It's experimental artists.
Taxi drivers for Lucian Wintrich. We have one here. If you don't, we're not doing a big long Lucian thing here. We're doing like a lot of current events and the campaign. But if you haven't watched our past episodes, obviously Lucian's very famous. Look at this one, Twinks for Lucian Wintrich. A little callback to the Twinks for Trump campaign. We're loving it.
Wait, I'll go to any event with a handful of those. People have a lot of fun.
Yeah, chess players.
To go to one of those parks. Oh, my inhaler. Yeah.
That's because I'm going to make you nervous and angry. Park Avenue Moms for Lucian Wintrich. So basically, you're really, we're big fans of Lucian Wintrich here on the show. So we don't think that your Republican competitors are going to matter much. We think you're going to totally clean the field on that side.
Well, the establishment, because of my fallout with the club, is pushing girl Caroline forward. She just got the
Sorry, Caroline.
Manhattan GOP nomination. Her mother, from what I heard, and I'm not gonna don't fact check me here, so I'll say allegedly.
Allegedly.
I heard that her mother gave her $50K for her campaign and said, "This will be great for your self-confidence, even if you don't win, honey."
Sure.
And she's
Rich kids,
she's the one being supported right now by the establishment.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm being
Hoisted out.
sort of hoisted out because I saw something financially weird.
Yeah.
Right.
Like left or right. If I see something weird, I'm going to talk about it.
Yes.
Right.
It still really bothers me that there wasn't a logical explanation behind what I saw.
You bring up some questions, you get a lawsuit about petty insults.
It's like,
there's never any answers about what's going on. We hope that the Young Republicans Club recovers from all of this nonsense. Even those out there who might not be Republican watching this show, it's like, listen, you want there to be an intellectual base to some of this. You don't want it to just be a keg party with some weird internet postings. There needs to be a center to it, an intellectual, some kind of intellectual conversation. And the New York Young Republicans Club was by far the young person space for intellectual dialogue than any other Republican club in the country.
It used to be, but
it was.
Again, I left or right, I fully believe that we need to engage with every argument and thought, suggestion for policy on the spectrum, right? And truly engage with it. And I personally don't feel confident in making any argument on my side unless I know how to argue the alternative viewpoint.
Right.
If we deprive ourselves from that, then there's like no basis to whatever you're saying. Okay, so here's a quick tip.
There has to be some discourse and there has to be some intellectual inquiry?
Left or right, everybody who's read the policy that I have beautifully put up on my Winrich for New York website.
WintrichFreeNewYork.com. Yeah.
24 points.
Twice as many as the others,
Exactly.
which is, part of the joke because everybody was doing 12 points for New York 12.
Okay. That's 12.
24,
Yeah, 24.
because I believe in it twice as much.
Twice as much, baby.
So left or right, everybody agrees with every single policy platform that I have I've written. It's stuff that I, of course, believe in myself. And the only pushback I've gotten was from liberals saying that, this is so good, no problems. Why aren't you running as a liberal?
Right.
It's like, well, I'm not. And these points are fundamentally conservative points, but they're true conservative points from, the 60s, from ideologically.
Give me the website again.
WintrichForNewYork.com.
WintrichForNewYork.com. Listen, you're not a Republican. Go there and check it out anyway. Make your own choice. We're not pushing on anything on you here, but go there and look at it and see what you think, Congratulations on the campaign. Right before we go here, why don't we introduce yourself? You've been on the show now.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Mayor.
Mayor?
Yeah.
And Mayor, you're somehow involved in the campaign here?
Yeah. I'm a freshman at NYU.
Awesome.
I would say pretty politically. I mean, I started getting politically active because of him, but I guess more.
Are you in the club there at NYU?
Yeah, I'm part of the NYU College Republicans, which
Okay.
is I find it very different because for me personally, just seeing the establishment and both on the left and right, it's just it just kind of feels irritating just to see all that stuff. It's a lot of boring boomers and all this
Right.
corruption and all this other stuff.
New York young Republicans are built different.
Yeah,
It's a different thing, isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the notion that conservatives or Republicans can't be artistic, cultural,
Yeah.
whatever, I think that's just a lie, and I feel like this campaign over here, we're really pushing out because Lucian is actually, he really came up differently than, some of these other candidates, which
Totally.
nobody knows about, right? He's famous for Twins for Trump as well as other different, projects. So I think it kind of really puts into perspective that we're bringing, politics and art are connected fundamentally, but I think that notion has been lost, especially these, past couple decades, really. But we're bringing that back because fundamentally, it's culture that pushes the policy that changes,
Yeah.
the landscape, and that's why I think this was a good campaign for me to get involved in because I can't be involved in a career bureaucrat, whatever, that's slop.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Total slop. These guys are it feels like a migraine looking at these guys.
Yeah.
Same basic website, basic merch, screen printed hats. I mean, this is probably even better quality than some of the stuff that they got out, right? But really just fundamentally just trying to bring a fundamentally New York archetype to the political scene, which really hasn't been answered for at all. And
Well, that's what I love about it. It's very New Yorky.
yeah,
And that's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, we pulled in merch drops are coming, but 4 or 5 local artists,
Awesome.
4 limited
Yeah.
campaign drops.
Cool.
Gonna be hitting the couture thing.
There you go. Check it out. Wintrich for America. What
Yeah.
Wintrich? Is that right?
For New York.
Winrich
For New York. What's wrong with me? Wintrich for New York. Check it out. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Lucian Wintrich IV.
Of course.
Guys here from the New York First campaign for District 12. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Glad I came on. I was told not to be here after your allegations, but you're a wonderful guy, and I don't believe a word. So
It's all true.
appreciate it. Well,
All the drama's true.
let's keep that out of the papers.
New York City.
WVFP.
Energy and charisma.
God, well, anywhere beneath 14th Street.
And the fun and the cultural element.
It's this self-induced schizophrenia is.
Well, I just thought you might not like what I've done and want to do something about it.
Sorry, I never know when I'm going to get in trouble.
WVFP.